This is Kathleen from Bailey Academy, mom of 5, homeschooling 3 of them, ages 11, 14, and 17. Today I wanted to just touch on how to create a high school zoology course for yourself. I can't say that it won't cost any money because you might have to get some books, but it's not a specific course that you have to purchase. It just is making my own course. So my daughter, my grade 12 daughter, has already finished. She is doing her high school zoology course this semester, and so I planned it last semester and beginning, the end of last semester, and I kind of like changing it as I go. I have this in blog post form, so if you want to see it that way, I will link it in the description. So first thing I did was I used ChatGPT to create the course outline for me to figure out like what do you learn about fish before invertebrates? Do you learn about like habitats before biomes? I don't know. I wasn't sure exactly what to include. So I used ChatGPT. I have a whole video on how I use ChatGPT to make courses, and I believe I show the zoology course, so maybe I'll talk about it at least anyway in there, so I will link that in the description. But basically, and also I show part of it in the blog post. So I used that to give me an outline, and it also gave me suggestions of videos to watch, but I found that less helpful because it seemed to be like out of date. Like it would say like, oh, watch this on Netflix, and I go to Netflix and it's not there anymore. So I didn't use those, but I did use some other website suggestions it gave me, which I linked in the blog post, but I will mention here too and link in the description in a second. And it talked about, more importantly, it talked about what, I told it how many weeks I would be doing school, how many days a week I would be doing school, and that I wanted a high school grade 12 zoology course so that they would know like what age group to do. And it broke it down into, okay, weeks 1 is this, week 2 is this, week 3 is this, week 4 is this, that sort of thing, so that I would know how to do that. And then I wrote on the side of it, I copied it to a document and moved it over and wrote on the side of it. I skipped a step. I wrote down the dates on the left of what would be. So like this week 1, when it says week 1, I would write down would be like February 27th to March 3rd or whatever 5 days would be. But then I would make sure that I would omit any holidays or anything that we're taking off school for. So some weeks it would say 4 days, some weeks it would say 5 days. If it was a 5-day week, I'd write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4-day week, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. on the right, and then I would decide exactly what we were going to do based on that. So for some reason I have invertebrates in my head. So during the invertebrate section, I would look at their suggestions, look at free resources or cheap resources I found, books I might already own, things I could get from the library, whatever the case is. And I would be like, okay, so day 1 we're going to watch this video. Day 2 we're going to read this book. Day 3 we're going to notebook about an invertebrate. Whatever I decided. I also decided a few other things. So like every Friday we're doing zoology with my grade 5 because she's also doing zoology. So we're doing something together on grade day 5, and on the Wednesdays or day 3 if it's a 5-day week, she's going to do some sort of notebooking. And so sometimes it's just notebooking, sometimes it's an activity with notebooking. It depends on what I have. So I planned all those out, etc. So what resources did I use to figure these all out? So first of all, I didn't grab it, but I will put a picture up here of the zoology book that she got for Christmas. I wanted to get it for school, but it was a bit out of her budget, so when she got it for Christmas, it was perfect. We actually haven't used much of it. The plan was if she's done early, or if she needs extra work, she can just read from it, or if I don't have a day where I have something, I can just look through your zoology book. But you could absolutely use it as a spine and read from the book like a textbook and do extra activities. You could do it that way for sure. It's about $40. It's a great book though. I think it's Smithsonian. You probably already saw the picture of it. Out of breath. And then for other books, I just used books I already owned, or picked up a few books at a thrift store, or not thrift store. Well, I guess it's like a thrift store. Anyway, used bookstore. But you could absolutely use anything you already have if you already have animal books. So I will list all the books below that I used, but they're also in the blog post. So I'm not gonna like put pictures up here or talk about the names at the moment. But what I decided was that every, I think it's Thursday, she will read from whatever the current animal book is that I have her read. So I figured things out like that so that I could like make it easier. So if every Wednesday is this, every Thursday is this, every Friday is this, it makes it a little easier. And then I also looked into useful, free or cheap resources that we could use. So for example, there's Crash Course Zoology. She'd already watched a bunch of these videos on her own, so we ended up not using that, but I may like throw in a video here or there. We're not using it completely, but Crash Course, any of their Crash Course videos are amazing. There's also the Great Courses, which is not free, however, generally. However, if you have a subscription to, I think it's Wondrium, you have them. Maybe that's the right one. But also our library currently has where you can take out a binge pass, I think it's called, for a week. So you can access the Great Courses for free for a week. But then you can take it out again. Like there's no limit to how many times you take it out. So we've been using the Great Courses, which is more like a lecture than like a documentary or whatever. It's a lecture. And so I have been like trying to keep as best I can some of the, like if it's invertebrates week, we do the invertebrates things, but I also want to make sure I do the Great Courses video in order. So it's, sometimes we're learning the same thing and that we learn later, but we're learning more about it. It may not be perfect, but it's working for us. And she's definitely learning a lot about zoology. She keeps telling me interesting things that she learned. And she just recently watched a Great Courses video where it warned her to put her snacks away, and she found out quickly why. It's about parasites. So the resources, like I said, are on the blog post. I guess I can copy them into the description here in case somebody doesn't want to go to the blog. But a visit to the blog would be nice. There's two websites, Metazoa and Zoa, or however you pronounce it, and iNaturalist that we're also using, and I explain in the blog post how we use them, but I will link them below. Sorry, my breath, talking too fast. So that's basically what I do for any course that I use, and then I'll also like look on Teachers Pay Teachers and Twinkle for resources I can use too. Now Twinkle doesn't really have high school resources, but sometimes it has resources for like grade 8 that you can stretch to use for high school or things like that. So I've been using that more for my younger one. But Teachers Pay Teachers, you can absolutely find high school related resources. Some are free and not worth it. Some are free and good, worth it, but if it's free, you can easily tell. For the paid ones, there's certain ways you can tell. Paid ones seem to be, where you use the previews and stuff like that and reviews and see if it seems like something you'd want. You can often get them for cheap, so it depends on what you want and if you have any money to spend. You absolutely could buy certain books that you want, but I just used what I had on hand, so that worked for me. If you have any questions, this is, I guess, very short, so if you have any questions about if you have questions about how I made the course, it's on ChatGPT, but if you want a copy of my schedule, or you want to have any questions about how I did it, or you missed the name of a book or anything like that, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to come back and give you some tips or help with that. But basically, yeah, that's what I do when I want a course and I can't find one I can afford or can't find one I like. I just make it myself, and it is a lot more work. I have to plan each week like a teacher plans a thing, but that's why I plan originally like some of it out ahead of time. So I have the whole semester planned for the like what ChatGPT gave me, and then I have a couple weeks ahead of us planned for what each day is, so that I just like tomorrow on Sunday I can just write in our planner like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and she can copy down and do it, so I don't have to like do the whole plan on the weekend. So that is what I do if you were interested in your own high school zoology course. Alright, that's it for today. Bye.